Welcome, everyone. It is our 7th annual Pearl Gala event. My name is Rauhi Saeed. I'm an IMAA staff member, but tonight I'll be your MC. I'd like you all to sit back, relax, and enjoy, because tonight we have a few speakers and videos lined up highlighting the work and mission of IMAA. Following our program, we will have a musical performance featuring FERNANDO UFRET. You can still purchase your tickets by going to imaa.net or clicking on the link in the comment section below. Now, without further ado, help me welcome our Executive Director, Armin Budimlich.
Good evening and welcome to the 7th annual IMAA Pearl Gala event. My name is Armin Budimlich, and I am humbled and privileged to serve as the Executive Director for the Intercultural Mutual Assistance Association. We are thrilled to have you here tonight, joining us virtually from your living room, home office, or wherever else you may be comfortably watching, as we honor IMA's mission of building bridges between cultures by empowering individuals to create diverse, inclusive, and equitable community. This event has been made possible by dedicated work of IMA staff, members of the IMA Board of Directors, and volunteers. Thank you all for your dedicated work. Now it is time to recognize our event sponsors and donors. Thank you to our friend-level sponsors, Hawkins Ash CPAs, Northgate Imports, Hindu Samaj Temple, and Rochester Math and Science Academy. Thank you to our bronze-level sponsors, Home Federal Savings Bank, First Alliance Credit Union, and Ultra Federal Credit Union. Finally, a world of thanks to our gold-level sponsor, Mayo Clinic Department of Public Affairs. I also want to take this time to thank all individual donors who generously contribute to IMAA. Thank you all for helping us create a stronger, more diverse, and equitable Rochester community. If you are so inclined to help us in this important work, please note that you can do so at any time by donating online at www.imaa.net or simply by mailing us a check. We live in a world where there are a lot of misjudgments and misconceptions about refugees and immigrants. At IMAA, we show compassion and respect to all of our clients, no matter where they come from. This year, with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, we truly stepped up and lived our organizational values to the fullest. IMA immediately became part of the larger community response to COVID-19 crisis. With our community partners at Channel One Food Shelf and Family Services Rochester, we started food and incidentals deliveries to refugees and immigrant families. In May, June, and July of this year, we assisted 310 households, counting 1,380 family members with food and incidentals. These families also received 1,276 dental kits as part of these deliveries. With our community partners and collaborating with Families First of Minnesota, we are also front and center on the work addressing digital equity and access to early childhood education. So, what have we learned about ourselves during this pandemic? We learned that doing the right thing and taking care of each other matters, that living our organizational values in spirit of our mission matters, and that doing it together with everybody in our community matters. It truly is this ability to adapt quickly when facing new challenges and times of uncertainty that makes IMAA resilient. As a result, we are a stronger, more sustainable organization that continues to serve those with the most need in our community. Speaking of resiliency, I want to introduce you to a very special client who has adapted well, despite facing great adversity, trauma, stress, and life-threatening moments. It is a story of a man who escaped from Cameroon, resettled in Rochester, and got paired with a Bible study group in the community through our match program. Please sit back and tune in for this moving story.
To that question is what has transformed my life, that has brought me from nothing to something. It all started by me meeting the match coordinator who introduced me to the match group, and this has been a wonderful success to me, moving me from a level to another level each day. The people, they have impacted my life socially, morally, economically, and financially. They have been more than a family. They have been more than what I have made. They have experienced wonderful love, and they have been able to introduce me to the culture of America.
The match program pairs community volunteers with refugee and immigrant families in a cultural exchange and friendship. By providing practical help, support, knowledge about American culture, volunteers are helping families to become more integrated into the community and more socially connected.
I think the match program has also been a great opportunity for us to be a friend to someone who otherwise would not have developed a friendship with. I think it's also allowed us to be able to help someone and really serve the community and kind of the greater world in a sense.
One Bible study actually had called me one day and was interested in the match program, and not a week later, a Christian came into my office, and I remember him sitting in the chair, and I could just see the loss of hope and despair that was in his faces and in his eyes. And as he was sharing his story with me, and he was talking about how by God's miracle he was here in my office sitting, and I decided that this Bible study might be a great match for Christian, because maybe at this point in time he just needed to have some type of a spiritual and moral connection with somebody. And so therefore I had matched him with this Bible study group, and they have just been wonderful and amazing, and they have really helped him to better integrate into not only American culture, but just helping him out with a lot of the basic needs and necessities, and providing him with hope again.
Because when he came here, he really was very limited with what he had, and so we've been able to kind of coordinate not only with people within our small group, but just with other kind of community circles that we've been a part of, whether with residency groups or other Bible studies, other community groups. So that's been good to be able to, help him get kitchen stuff and bedding and clothing and, things that you realize you need once you're starting a home.
The main thing that I've really gained from my relationship with Christian is just a lot of perspective. You see stuff on the news or in movies, and you don't really realize how real it is until you get to know someone who's living those realities every day of their lives.
I might not be in Cameroon right now, but I can tell you that as we speak, at least one person is being shot. As we speak, there is one person struggling to run across the border for his life. As we speak right now, there is a woman hiding somewhere in the bush with children being shot. And as we speak, an orphan is being produced in Cameroon because the parents are being killed. As we speak, there are people who are running helter-skelter for their dear lives. So in a nutshell, I will tell you that the life in Cameroon is deplorable. So people in Cameroon are just enduring. Just hoping to see the breaking of another new day because of the long 4 years conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon.
I can't imagine what it's like to move halfway around the world and try to go to work and live a normal life every day, wondering if you're going to be able to pick up the phone and whether your family's still even there on the other end or whether they've been slaughtered. It's just, you think you have problems until you really get to know people, and I just have a lot more compassion and perspective.
Well, growing up as an Anglophone or as an English speaker in Cameroon has been through depression, suppression, It has been a life just trying to survive, and having grown up in such a life, I thought to one day come up with an umbrella that will advocate and speak for the people. For this reason, I started visiting orphanages. I was always going to prisons and trying to meet one or two persons. In 2016, when the problem in Cameroon became terrible, I came up with an umbrella where I began to gather people who had the same spirit like I did. And I started by creating a Facebook page, and under this Facebook page, I was always trying to advocate and to tell people how we need to, as Anglophones, come together and try to speak for those who were not having a voice in Cameroon. We decided to create the Voice of the Voiceless. And as to why the Voice of the Voiceless was created, the main of our organization is to, help orphans, internally displaced persons, widows, and also to make sure that we let them to be able to speak up for themselves. We have lost our essence of living in Cameroon, because growing up in Cameroon as an English speaker, you are practically a refugee in your country. The Voice of the Voiceless aim, first of all, is to be able to give these people a voice, to speak for themselves. That's the first step. And to give people a voice, the first thing, you don't just give them a voice, but you increase their standard of living by making sure that they have the basic necessity they need in their daily life. So we help to give them medication, we give them materials that they need, we give them foodstuffs, and we also try to put orphans together and then put a roof on their head. So basically, we deal with orphans, internally displaced persons, we deal with widows, we deal with the vulnerable and street children. That is why the Voice of the Voiceless exists, and that is what we have been doing for 4 years since creation.
We just can't even imagine what it would be like to just have to be planted in somewhere you've never really intended to live or plan to live, and just all the logistics that come with that, and what it would be like if you had nobody to kind of walk alongside you and figure those things out. So I just think compassion and empathy and understanding, and just a really tangible, practical way to love and welcome your neighbor.
It's been very rewarding for us to be able to have that relationship with somebody who's grown up in a completely different part of the world, in a completely different culture, and kind of grow from his culture and his experiences that he has had.
I think it's been a great experience. IMAA makes it really easy to get connected. There's never, they never demand that you do more than you're comfortable with, or ask more than you're comfortable with. And if you have questions or concerns, there's always someone there to help or to bounce ideas off of, and so they never leave you alone as a volunteer.
I would not have felt more happy. Sometimes I felt like leaving from Cameroon to come here was a divine arrangement, because where all hope was almost gone, I just immediately moved into where all hope was being restored. So I cannot overemphasize on this, but one thing I can say for sure is that all those people, IMAA and the group that I met in my life, has been a divine arrangement, and I will not wish for anything happier than what they have done for me here in Rochester.
Christian's come a long way since February. We're proud of his perseverance and resiliency, and we hope that he can be reunited with his family soon. If you would like to find more information on Christian's organization back home in Cameroon, the Voice of the Voiceless, you can find a link at the bottom of the screen. Now, let's turn it over to one of our board members, Kendra Rainmaker.
Hello, I'm Kendra Rainmaker, and I'm so excited to welcome you to this year's Pearl Gala. As all of you know, this is our annual fundraising event, but most importantly, it's our bridge to all of you. I'd like all of you to pause and think right now of the moment that we're in. Think about the unprecedented change we're all experiencing. I won't go further than that, because this needs to be personal to each of you. Now think about our community members who are refugees and immigrants, having just come from an environment of tumultuous change. When I reflect on the time that I lived in another country, the situation was different. I was blessed with people who reached out to help me in a time that was not so tumultuous. Through curiosity and empathy and the pure joy of human interaction, they brought a bridge to me. And that's what IMAA is doing even more strongly in this moment to immigrants and refugees who are joining this community. Every day, the staff here work in their unique strengths, welcoming and helping. Actually, IMAA even did this for me after I returned from college, having lived a year abroad, and I wasn't reintegrating to American life very easily. I came and volunteered here, and I found my people again. Now, in this particularly challenging period of history, one of the blazing torches of hope that I find in the community is still IMAA. To have seen the staff jumping into action during the pandemic, quickly partnering with Olmsted Medical Center, Mayo Clinic, Olmsted County Public Health, and the Rochester Community Health Partnership to call and reach out to patients who had tested positive for COVID-19 to support them. COVID-19, though, is not the only thing that is going on in this community. Those of us on the board have talked for multiple months now about the death of George Floyd and the work that needs to be done to shoulder moving forward in work of anti-racism. This organization is uniquely prepared right now to be that bridge and do that work. I hope you will celebrate what an asset IMAA is to our community, particularly at this historic moment in time. I hope you will reflect on the special position that the staff at IMAA are in. Each of the staff offer cultural understanding and are representative of the populations they serve. Because of each team member, IMAA is an organization that is uniquely prepared to meet this moment in several areas of cultural competence, such as diversity and inclusion training, early childhood development work, healthcare navigation, interpreting and translation services, advocacy for victims of crime, and community engagement outreach. IMAA's mission and our unique asset is to be the bridge, and we are doing this specifically through the Meadow Park Initiative and Match program. At a time when so many leaders are struggling to know how to meet this moment, this is an organization that is ready now.
Meadow Park is a multicultural neighborhood here in Rochester. We are in Southeast.
They do awesome programming for kids, after-school programs, enrichment programs, mentoring, all kinds of cool things like that for the families around here.
Try to help any corner we can, any help we can, anything we can to help them to build their, financial goal, education goal, and all those things.
They come from a really diverse background, and a lot of times it's hard for them. They have a lot of things going against them, and they don't have the resources they need to be successful. And Meadow Park Initiative and IMAA has been doing lots of great things to develop the community and help those neighbors stuff that they need, like the food program here.
Si fiican. Si fiican shaqooyinka ay buuxiyeen waxaan rabo dhan iga caawin jiray. So it's a lot of good news, a lot of progress, a lot of help coming to the community.
Many people is refugees or immigrants from Latin America or Africa. So we are like a bridge. We connect the residents with the resource around Rochester or around the county, and we connect each other for build relationships.
I'm really grateful for all the work that they're doing, and I look forward to it to continue, because in these times people have greater needs than ever, and it's awesome to have somebody that cares about you enough to be in there and step in the gap when your basic needs are not being met.
For create a good community.
For me, it's you know, when you work with the community, it's ownership, it's rewarding, because when I help someone today, anything they needed, I feel like when I go home, I feel happy and says today I make somebody else life easy. I feel welcome. Yeah.
I think Middle Park is much better now. Many people is really interested in this area, and the residents, they can work together and see everything is much better now. So I'm so proud about Middle Park.
The work done at Meadow Park in just this amount of time, in this short amount of time, is truly remarkable. You can support Meadow Park and other IMAA programs by donating to IMAA.net, or even right here by clicking the donate button on Facebook. Our work cannot be done without the donations, support, and assistance from people like you. Now, for our next speaker, help us welcome another board member, Daniel Dogo Aseki.
We are a nation of immigrants, all of us, every one of us. It is not a cliche, but a universal fact. Our First Nations brothers and sisters crossed the land bridge centuries ago to this land now called the United States of America. Our gratitude for them blazing the trail and for the sacrifices they have endured for this nation. Subsequent waves of immigrants from every corner of the world have come to this great nation, fleeing persecution in search of a better life. Some came voluntarily, others came involuntarily in shackles, fleeing genocide, religious intolerance, wars, human deprivation, and all sorts of inhumanity. Out of the pain of humanity, a beautiful and great nation like no other in history was formed, this United States of America. There's a story behind all of the immigrants that have journeyed to this land. Albert Einstein, the epitome of scientific knowledge and discovery, was an immigrant. So is Elon Musk in our recent history. Now, sending rockets to space, building beautiful electric cars. Yes, this is America that opened its doors to generation of immigrants that have come, that have in turn made great contributions to this nation. I came here on a plane in search of a world-class education. America gave that to me. However, the story behind my achieving the goal of a good education is the story of organizations like IMAA. Immigrants face all kinds of daunting struggles, challenges upon arrival. Everything might seem strange and different. The language, the food, the people, financial challenges, finding jobs, the list goes on and on. It's a long list. IMAA is that place where many of our new neighbors get their start, a helping hand, not a handout. So they can become independent, contributing taxpayers and innovators that have made this nation so great and unique. IMAA, with the support of sponsors like Mayo Clinic at the gold level, Home Federal Savings Bank, First Alliance Credit Union, and Ultra Federal Credit Union at the bronze level. And at the Friends level, we have Hawkins Ash CPA, Hindu Samaj Temple, Northgate Imports, and Rochester Math and Science Academy. We thank them for giving the helping hand. Please join and become a donor today to move this laudable and great work by IMAA to pave the path for our new neighbors to nurture the next Albert Einstein and Elon Musk. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel, so much for that. IMAA has grown tremendously in the last 5 years, and we continue to grow. We are very proud of all of our accomplishments and all of the work that we've done, but we also recognize that more work needs to be done. Our next video segment is going to highlight the programs at IMAA, where we aim and strive to make our refugees and immigrants and newcomers feel valued, accepted, and welcomed in our community that we call home.
So why IMAA? As a new American and the leader of IMAA, it has always been the mission of IMAA of building bridges between cultures that captivated me all these years. The change that I see in the lives of people we serve has kept me engaged. To look in the eyes of my fellow refugees who have come to this country, to this very community, seeking freedom from persecution and war, to look in their eyes and see stability restored, dreams of success rekindled, and a sense of community renewed. That is what we do at IMAA. We build bridges between cultures by creating stability, supporting success, and building community.
काफ़ी बार लोग मुझे कहते कि आप हिंदुस्तानी के लिए बहुत अच्छा अंग्रेज़ी बोलते हैं।
He vivido en los Estados Unidos mi vida entera. Me siento americano, pero no me ven como un americano.
At IMAA, I run or operate and coordinate two very important programs here. The first one is our Whole Family Systems Grant, and the second one is our Diversity and Inclusion Trainings and Cultural Consulting. Our Whole Family Systems Grant is unique in the fact that it is set up with the state, DHS, and other partners from the region that really have come together to identify barriers affecting our refugee and immigrant families with children 0 to 5. To go back to my diversity and inclusion work, that is really a unique thing that IMAA has been doing since the 80s. So 35 plus years of diversity and inclusion work. What makes IMAA super unique and maybe different than anyone else in the community is we approach diversity and inclusion through experience. We make sure that the people we find and the people sharing their stories talk about their experiences and why diversity is important in this community. We also have recently ventured out into cultural consulting, where we're able to go into communities and businesses and talk about different practices with respect to diversity, inclusion, and equity.
I do not have the generational wealth like many other American families living in this country for years.
We are overlooked for jobs because of the color of our skin, religion, cultural differences, or because our name looks different on resumes.
IMAA Employment Service Program works with low-income individuals and families to help them overcome the challenges so they can be stable and successful in our community. At IMAA, we believe that everyone should have the tools they need to succeed. Families and individuals enrolled in IMAA employment service are assessed in a culturally appropriate manner by a counselor who speaks the client's native language or work in tandem with an IMAA interpreter to deliver bilingual services. One of the cornerstones of IMAA Employment Service Program is the Parent-Child Plus program. The Parent-Child Plus program is a proven early childhood school readiness program for families challenged by poverty, low level of education, language, literacy barriers, and other obstacles to education success. The program provides intensive home visiting twice a week for 2 cycles over a 2-year period to families with 2- and 4-year-old children. Thank you.
Immigration rules constantly change. They make it more difficult to navigate the system.
Refugees and immigrants always face a language barrier. This makes it difficult to navigate the system.
काफ़ी बार मेरा हिंदुस्तानी संस्कृति अमेरिका का जैसा नहीं है. लोग मुझे अजीब से देखते हैं.
Imagine going to a country where you cannot speak the same language or cannot understand the culture. So that's where IMAA's interpreters play a key role by closing that gap and allowing those either newcomers or any non-English speaking communities to navigate the system.
Many refugees and immigrants lack a stable support network. This greatly affects their mental, emotional, and physical health.
I tested positive for COVID-19. I speak limited English, and I don't know who to call to help me.
I'm hesitant to seek medical care because I don't have insurance and I don't understand how to navigate the healthcare system.
IMAA is fortunate to have 16 community health workers serving in the communities of Olmsted, Mauer, Dodge, and Freeburn. CHWs come from the communities they serve and builds a stronger trust with the individuals that we try to help and that we walk through the different programs. CHWs work alongside of the healthcare teams, oftentimes social workers and care team leads, also other nonprofit agencies in the Rochester and surrounding communities. CHWs partner with these agencies to help individuals who need access to healthcare, insurance enrollment and understanding, basic needs, food supplies, and other incidentals to access these as a partnership. The CHW team is the link to assisting individuals in finding resources to keep them safe, engaged, and working through their healthcare needs or chronic conditions. Our delivery of service may have changed from in-person to virtual or telephonic right now because of this pandemic, but our quality of service has been strengthened through our technology and our dedication to the communities in which we serve. The CHW team has built strong relationships with agencies in our communities and has come to be a trusted partner with many of the services that we are able to assist with. When Olmsted County first experienced the pandemic in March, IMAA staff and CHWs quickly jumped into action, making calls to former and present clients to assure people that they were understanding what was going on. There was much fear and confusion, and these assurance calls helped individuals feel cared for and listened to. CHWs began to assist with quelling fear, symptom education and identification, testing site information, and how to quarantine safely with cultural understanding. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, IMAA teams have worked to assist with the delivery of culturally specific food and other basic needs to assist members of the community. Along with the effort from Channel 1, IMAA has been providing culturally specific food to families who have tested positive and also those who are in need. This was made possible from contributions from individuals in the community, Channel 1, and the support of local ethnic grocery stores. IMAA has been a part of a collaboration with the distribution of cloth and paper masks to families in need. IMAA has delivered and provided over 2,000 masks to members of the community and to places where people congregate. The CHW team would like to thank our talented community seamstresses for their efforts to construct masks with the beautiful materials and the different designs. This collaborative to the community was strengthened by their talents. If you or someone you know may benefit from assistance due to COVID, chronic health conditions, connection to primary care or health clinics, or even basic needs, I urge you to reach out to the IMAA community health workers, and we will help you in any way that we are able. Thank you.
Some just stare without saying anything, but you know they're looking at you because you look different, and that is uncomfortable.
Women wearing a hijab often get told to go back to where they came from, even if they were born in America.
I'm a victim of domestic violence and I don't speak English. If I don't understand the legal system, who can I call for help?
IMAA's Victim Services Program provides culturally sensitive advocacy to victims of gender crime. Gender crime includes domestic abuse, human trafficking, hate crime, bullying, dating violence, etc. And we provide resources and support and advocacy to victims through various collaboration. We collaborate with the legal assistants of Olmsted County for legal clinics and immigration clinic, and also with the Women's Shelter for shelter, and also get the support of County Victim Services, Safe Harbor Program, Advocates of Human Rights, Standpoint, Minnesota, Family Services, Rochester, among various other agencies.
I remember as a kid coming to IMAA and seeing people from all over the world helping us. I knew one day that I would like to help back. I love working for IMAA and I love its mission. I think of myself as a bridge and I see my co-workers as bridges too. We build bridges between culture by extending our hand to one another, helping those in need to better our community. If we work together, we can change the world for better, for sure. I won't lie, introduction to amazing food is a bonus working at IMAA. We celebrate every holiday here together and eat all kinds of different foods. I probably wouldn't have opportunity to try any of these foods if it wasn't working for IMAA.
It's a good feeling when you talk to people and you're able to connect them to resources. And those small acts, when they feel like they are more confident on how to approach life here in the United States, knowing that they have someone who can be able to assist them in connecting to the resources, is a big thing for me.
As an immigrant coming here, knowing nobody, the first month I was here, I was introduced to IMAA by one of my friends. And since then, IMAA took over by guiding me to the resources that were available in the community, which has enabled me to stabilize. And I thought like it's a good idea to get an opportunity with an organization like IMAA to be able to reach out to fellow immigrants and refugees to give the kind of support or to extend the kind of support I received to them so that they can also have a feeling like they're home.
The Rochester Olmsted Youth Commission has been a proud partner with IMAA for many, many years. The advocacy and support provided for immigrants and refugees in this community, many of whom have faced unimaginable hardship, has made this a better place for all of us.
As a refugee and an immigrant, I know what it's like to learn the language, what it's like to not know some things, not have access to resources, and frankly, be afraid. IMAA is not only a bridge builder, but also a friend in the community. And that's why IMAA means so much to me.
I'm John Losness, Executive Director of Families First of Minnesota. We do Head Start in Rochester and Albert Lea and a number of state-funded child care programs across southeastern Minnesota. Families First and IMAA have had strong ties for a number of years, but in the last couple of years those ties have gotten even stronger. We're working together on a whole family systems grant through the state of Minnesota that we hope will help immigrant families get closer ties to the public schools as they prepare their children for kindergarten. On top of that, we're also working together on a new grant that will help families, friends, and neighbors who are being asked to provide childcare during these trying times. So we're excited about the work that we do together. Armin Badimlich, Rawi Saeed, and the entire IMAA team are a joy to work with. In these challenging financial times, it's imperative that nonprofits work together to provide the best possible outcomes for the families we serve. Collaboration is king, and IMAA is a great partner. The work that IMAA does with refugees and immigrants is so vital. In 2019, there were nearly 27 million refugee and 4.2 million asylum seekers worldwide. Minnesota ranks 12th in percent of refugees resettled. Refugee resettlement saves lives and supports the most vulnerable, including women, girls, and children at risk, survivors of violence and torture, and those with medical needs. Stories such as Christians, who was lucky enough to be granted asylum, and individuals living in Meadow Park, as well as thousands of other refugees who walked through IMAA's doors, come for guidance and help to rebuild their lives after traumatically being separated from their home, family, and neighbors. With a few belongings, they must learn how to adapt to a new environment and culture where they do not speak the same language. Without the multicultural and interpretation services IMAA provides, where would these individuals turn? Although a refugee resettlement has drastically reduced in the last 4 years, IMAA continues to serve thousands of individuals annually. In the last year alone, IMAA assisted nearly 5,000 individuals. This year, we have all been faced with the challenge of a devastating pandemic. Although times may be more challenged for some of us, many of us still do quite well. Our immigrant and refugee populations are not always so lucky and face immense and unique challenges that make them more vulnerable to infectious diseases, including COVID-19, and their devastating effects. Your tax-deductible contribution to IMAA will be used for programs and services that allow IMAA to continue to play an imperative role in the community and ensure all individuals gain access to valuable services and assistance that can help bridge the gap to create a more equitable, inclusive community. Provide direct relief to victim services clients to assist with basic needs, provide bus passes and other necessary resources to clients, and finally assist families with COVID-19 food and incidental outreach. This virtual event is not the same as being in person together tonight. Please go to imaa.net and make a contribution. If you're watching live with us, there will be a link directed right to this video. Please give generously. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. It's truly a privilege and honor to hear the stories of our staff, our clients, and our board members on how IMAA has touched their lives. It's also a privilege to know that in these 36 years, IMAA has had wonderful partners in the community to help build bridges. You still have time to purchase tickets for tonight's musical performance with Fernando UFRET. For those of you that did buy tickets, you should have received an email with a link on how to join. If you'd like to donate, you can do so by clicking the Facebook donate button or going to our website, www.imaa.net, or you may even choose to donate by sending us a check through the mail. Finally, I want to thank you all for supporting us tonight and helping us walk through this and help build bridges. In my native tongue of Bosnian, I would like to say, hvala, ciao, laku noć, and do viđenja.